Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I've just been looking at the rules of this puzzle, which is scheduled for me to attempt today. It's called Empty Vessels by Die Hard, and they are mad. It's a truly astonishing rule set, actually, but given the other grid furniture, which you will note if you study it for a moment, is incredibly sparse. The basic idea is if you put a digit, let's say you put a 5 around that circle, then you have to put 5 5s around the circles. And that's it, basically. I mean, these lines do a little bit, but that's all the rules. So it seems incredibly underclued to me. And I found it on Logic Masters. It's got 5 stars out of 5 difficulty, so I'm guessing it's not a total walk in the park. But this is what I'm going to have a go at. I'm intrigued about this one. It's another beautiful day here in Surrey, and the sun is shining. My window's open. There will be some bird noise in the background. There may even be the sound of Maverick flying over at some point, although I haven't heard Maverick yet today. But we'll do the rules and read the rules properly in a moment or two's time. A couple of things to mention before we kick off today. Mark and I are streaming tonight at 10 p.m. UK time, back in the Blueprints Mansion, as usual, on Monday evenings for the 42nd time. Love to have your company if you're free. I will try and remember to put a link to the stream on the screen. Now, over on Patreon, we've got loads of extra content there all the time, so do join us. It's sort of our Sudoku club, if you like. It's a couple of bucks a month to join us over there. And on the 1st of May, we've got a brand new Sudoku Hunt competition launching, themed on Spider-Man. Hoping to get some younger viewers involved in that as well as the adults who participate. So I look forward to that. Goes live, I say, 4 p.m. UK time on the 1st of May. Lots of Spider-Man themed Sudokus to try. What else? Oh, birthdays. I have got quite a few birthdays to do today. Now, we're going to start off. Now, this could be Andrea. It could be Andrea. When I was young, I remember, I think it was about my first crush when I was sort of 6 years old. There was... on our estate, there was a girl. I still remember her name. Actually, I probably better not give it in case it allows identification. But Andrea was how you pronounce her name. But I do know that there's a different way to pronounce. It could be Andrea as well, couldn't it? But anyway, your best friend Sophie wrote to me, Andrea or Andrea, and told me that you're always doing Sudoku in your university classes. Now, you sound like somebody I would get on with. I never actually went to any lectures. Just about that is true. I think I went to about 4 when I was at university, and I did do a bit of puzzling. And so I can totally understand wanting to be distracted from university classes by much more interesting things like Sudoku. So anyway, I don't think Sophie, who wrote in asking for the shout out, actually watches the channel at all. All she knew was it was something to do with Simon and Sudoku and chocolate cake, which I think Sophie may be organising for you. So I hope you enjoy that. Andrea, many happy returns. Next, Jad. Jad, you're turning the big 3-0 today. And I know this because your girlfriend Brenda wrote to me, telling me you've been watching since 2021. Thank you for watching for such a long time. I know you're a lover of complex puzzles, as am I. So, Jad, I hope you have a great birthday today. Important line, isn't it? The big 3-0. Next, Kevin. A little bit older. Kevin's 33 today. I know this because your fellow ship's captain, Molly, wrote to me, Kevin. She says you deserve a birthday filled with good crosswords, good coffee, and good food. And I think she is sorting the chocolate cake, the heavily iced chocolate cake today. So, Kevin, enjoy that. Many happy returns. I have a feeling, might be wrong about this, but I always, in my mind, I've been doing birthdays for long enough that some people's names or something that's said about them resonates with a message I've given earlier. I think Kevin might maybe in Pittsburgh, maybe a chemistry professor. That could be total nonsense. And if it is, I'm sorry, Kevin, for misremembering. Anyway, finally, Tim, your good friend Julian wrote to me, telling me that you've reignited his passion for cracking the cryptic. So thank you very much for spreading the word. And he's looking forward to lots of swim sessions in the future. And he really does appreciate how good a friend you are. So, Tim, many happy returns. I hope you also find some very heavily iced chocolate cake today. Now, let me adjust my glasses and let's have a go at Empty Vessels by Die Hard. The rules of this one are as follows. We have got normal Sudoku rules applying. So we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. If the digit n appears in any of the 4 cells adjacent to a circle, then it appears exactly n times adjacent to a circle across the grid. It's a great rule. It really is. It's like counting circles rule, but applying to like quadruples blues. Box borders divide blue lines, there's only one of them, into regions of equal sums. Okay, so our normal way of expressing that is slightly different, but we get the idea. So you can see the 3x3 box borders divide this blue line into 2 segments. And what we're being told here is that these 2 cells, say this was 2 and that was 6. I tried to type 6. There we go. 2 plus 6 equals 8. That is a possible way that region sum line could work. Adjacent digits on red lines alternate between odd and even. So this is sort of a parity line. So if this was odd, this would have to be even, and then this would have to be odd again. They don't have to be 1, 2, 3. That's a terrible example, but they do have to alternate parity. Next. Adjacent digits on green lines differ by at least 5. See, normally if you get a green line constraint, you get a long green line. These are really small. If this was a 1, that's got to be a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9 to be sufficiently different from the digit 1. There's only one more rule. Digits on a pink line form a consecutive set in any order. I presume that's non-repeating. I suppose that's implied if a consecutive set, isn't it? So if this was a 1, these would have to be, they could be 3 and 2. Because they'd have to be, if this was a 1, they would have to be 1, 2, 3 to make a consecutive set. But they don't have to go 1, 2, 3. They can go in different orders. And I mean, even as we went through the rules, you can see how these lines are not doing very much at all to this grid. So all the power from the rule set must be coming from this circles rule. And it must do a lot of damage for this to have a unique solution. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, okay, so what we're going to do first is we are going to count how many... Actually, I was going to count them individually, but I suppose all I have to do, I know there are 4 cells surrounding a circle, so I just have to count how many circles there are. There are 8. So there are 32 cells touching the circles all together. And does the rule work the same way as it does with counting circles? So if we had, we can't actually have 9, can we? Yeah, it does work the same way. So what I was thinking about is, this is quite interesting straight away. Let me try and explain. Imagine that we put the digit 9 into one of these cells. What would that imply? That would tell us that we needed to put 9 9s touching these circles. Now we can see immediately that doesn't work because there is a 9 somewhere in the puzzle in box 5. It's in one of these 9 cells and it's definitely not touching a circle. So 9 is, there are only 9 9s, so if we're trying to put 9 9s touching circles, we couldn't do it. Now, right, so let's just briefly think about the secret. Something I share with only my very favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people. What is the secret of Sudoku? The secret of Sudoku, Maverick is flying over, is that the sum of the digits 1 to 9 sum to 45. Now here, it would in theory have been possible for us to have put, if there had been a 9, an 8, a 7, a 6, and a 5, and a 4, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1 touching the circles, then there would need to be 45 cells touching circles, which actually is not divisible by 4 either, so that's totally impossible. Because there would have been 9 9s around circles, 8 8s around circles, 7 7s around circles. So you're adding up to the triangular number for 9. Now, because we know 9 can't touch a circle here, we're taking some portion of the digits 1 through 8 that sum to 32. But all the digits 1 to 8 sum to 45 minus 9, which is 36. So there are very few ways these circles can be constituted, actually. It's either going to be 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2. I think that adds up to 32. Or it's going to be 8, 7, 6, 5, no 4, 3, 2, 1. That would also sum up to 32. Because effectively, we're missing out 4 from the maximum. We know the maximum is 36, given 9 is impossible. But we know we've only got 32 cells to play with. So how do you miss out 4's worth of cells? You've got to either miss out the 4 and say no 4 in the puzzle touches a circle, or you miss out 3's and 1's and say no 3's and no 1's touch circles. And either of those options would get you to 32. But the interesting thing, surely, is that 8's, 7's, 6's, 5's all have to touch circles their number of times. So 8 has to be on every circle, because there are only 8 8's, or there are only 8 circles, and each one of them must have an 8 around it. So, okay, so if we look at where, sort of sudoku, if you like, because there's an 8 in this 2x2 and there's an 8 in this 2x2, could this be an 8 or this? No, because then we would have 3 8's in those 2 rows, wouldn't we? And we can't have more than 2 8's in 2 rows of the puzzle. There's an 8 in there, that's 1. There's an 8 in there, that's 2. So we can't have any more 8's. So there's an 8 up there, possibly on the region sum. There's an 8 in one of those 3 because of these 8's. There's an 8 in one of those 2. Same logic. I'm just sort of... hang on. I've actually got an 8, I think. Because these 8's, we can't have another 8 in row 8, or we've got too many 8's in rows 7 and row 8. So I've got a digit. That's a surprise. I can, where's 8? Could these include an 8? No, again, I'd have too many 8's in columns 8 and 9. So there's an 8 here, there's an 8 here, there's an 8 here in box 4, because I've got an 8 in this domino and an 8 in those, or one of those 4 cells. So that's all the 8's we require in these 2 columns, isn't it? We can't have any more 8's. So I've got another 8 there. And if we... oh, hang on. If we put an 8... If we put an 8 on the Renban here, it would have to have a 7 on it somewhere. Because it would either be 987 or 876. Not sure, but I'm interested in 7's now, because I know that we've got to put 7 7's around the circles. Now, clearly, again, there's no possibility of a 7 being next to a circle in box 5. So of the remaining 8 circles, 7 of them have to have 7's on them. So, okay, so what we can do here is let's think about whether those 4, can all 4 of those have a 7 on them? Now the answer must be no, because if they all had 7 on them, where would you put the 7 in box 7? It would be on top of the 8, because the reason the 8 is in the corner is because the 8 is definitely in those 4. So if 7 was also in those 4, that would be a 7 as well. So there is not a 7 in all 4 of these, which means there is a 7 around the others. This is brilliant, isn't it? So there is a 7 around there. There's whoopsie. I meant to type 7 and I pressed 8. There's a 7 around here. There's a 7 around there. And there must be a 7 around here. That's distressing. That doesn't seem to do anything. Okay, how did we end up with an 8 there? We ended up with an 8 there because there were 8s in those 4. So can I do the same trick with that then? Yes, we can. So again, it's exactly the same point. Is it possible that there is a 7 in all 4 of those? No, because that's going to plonk an 8 into this cell in box 5. So now we've got an overlap, haven't we? In terms of the places that the 7 is missing, the 7 is missing from one of these. Wait a sec. It's missing from one of these, but also from one of the oranges. So it's missing from one of those 2. That's the only overlap. So one of these is the 2x2 with no 7. So we are able, there must be a 7 in here. And there must be a 7 in here. So, okay, that's done something in box 2, because now I know there's a 7 around the circle in boxes 1 and 3, so there can't be a 7 here, or we'd have too many 7s in rows 2 and 3. So now I've got a 7-8 pair in box. So this region sum line does have, well, it's not very, it'd actually be a lot more useful if this had been a small digit, wouldn't it? Then we could have, if that was a 3, this could have been a 1-2 pair or something. 7 or 8 is not very interesting. Okay. Same thing is true in, there's quite a lot of symmetry. I suppose that shouldn't be surprising, but columns 8 and 9, again, there's 7s and 8s in these 2x2s, so there can't be more 7s and 8s in box 6 in those 2 columns. So this is a 7-8, this is a 7-8. And one of these orange thingies has a 7 around it, but only one of them. Yeah, okay. So whichever one of these orange ones does have 7 around it, this can't be a 7. Because imagine there was a 7 around here, then this would be a 7. And if there was a 7 around here, this would be a 7. So that is not a 7. Now, if we knew the 7 was here, we would know that we'd know the parity line, wouldn't we? We'd at least know how it oscillated parity. And if we know the 7, the thing is, the 7 could easily be there. Oh, hang on, where's 7 in box 5? Is that the question? 7 can't be in those 4 cells. Because if it is, it's not in orange in either box. Because if the 7 is in one of those 4 cells, it can't be in there. And it can't be in there without causing too many 7s to exist in either rows 5 and 6 or columns 5 and 6. So the 7 in box 5 is in one of 4 places. So what are we saying? If this is 7, then we're saying 7 is round there. And then one of those is 7. And then 7 would be there. in box 4. That might be fine, I'm not sure. And if that's 7, then what are we saying? Then we're saying that 7 is in there, so 7 is in there, so 7 is in there. So 7 is, so this, I do know the parity of the line. I don't think this is very useful, but I'll just mention it. There must be a different way of seeing this. Let me just think about this for a second. If I know there's no 7 in there, I think in this row 7 is in one of these two cells, but I don't. The way I got to that was a little bit hand wavy, and I don't like things to be hand wavy. If the 7 is there, then I can totally see this is a 7. That makes total sense. If the 7 is not in here, and this is 7. Yeah, you can sort of see it. It does emerge from the fog, even though there's no fog in the puzzle. I mean, the way I've got it second time is thinking about where 7 goes in the bottom row. But let's imagine. So obviously, from a parity perspective, if this is 7, then this is odd and this is even. That's very, very clear if this is the 7. So what we have to think about is what happens if this is the 7. Now, if this is the 7, the 7 that's in one of the orange 2x2s is in this 2x2. Can't be in this one, or we'd have 3 7s in 2 rows of the puzzle. So there is no 7 in there, but there is a 7 in here. Now, if there is a 7 here, you can see in box 8, where is the 7? And the answer is in one of these 3 cells. Because there's a 7 here, there's a 7 in one of those 2, and there's a 7 in one of these 3, therefore. However, it can't be in these 2 cells, because if this is a 7, then there is a 7 in one of those 2 cells in box 5, because there's a 7 in here, there's a 7 in here, which means there's a 7 in there. They match up with those, so the 7 has to be there, but it also has to be here, so it does have to be there. So this, whether this is 7 or this is 7, those 2 are odd, which I may as well memorialize. And this is definitely even, and is definitely not 8. Now, one of these is a 7. And presumably that works the other way around. Does that mean this could be a... Because I don't think it... Or maybe it's the parity line. I don't know. I'm tempted to say this might have to be a 7 if this is a 7, but I'm not sure about that. Let me just think that through. If this is a 7, then one of those is a 7. No, that's a 7 actually, I think. That's weird. I think that has to be where 7 goes in box number 4. If this is a 7, so it doesn't go there, so it's not quite symmetrical. That's really strange. Anyway, I'm not claiming to understand that, but I do think that will be the 7 if that one is. Yeah, okay, I can sort of see it. This is offset, isn't it? That is not symmetrical with that. That would be in the symmetrical position around this diagonal, or the diagonal I was attempting to draw before I lost my army in a manner most worthy of ridicule there. Okay. You see, now I'm not... I know I should look at 6s, but I'm almost wondering whether we're on a red herring here. I'm actually... Here's why. Because is it possible that I am meant to think about 1s and 9s quite soon? And the reason I say that is that 9s, for example, I know that the lattice, if I just get rid of orange for a moment, but 9s are not allowed to be on circles anywhere in the puzzle. So let's just have a quick look at this. So 9s are in those cells definitely. That's fine, isn't it? That is in the right colour. So 9s are definitely in that lattice. But 1s might be in this lattice as well. Because if 4 does appear on a circle, then the way we're getting to our 32 number is with 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2. So actually, if that was the case, then 3s, 9s and 1s would all have to live in orange. Nine can't go on the region sum, actually. So 9 in box 3 is slightly restricted. That's terrible, isn't it? You're terrible, Muriel. Oh dear. It feels like, do you remember, and this is from the dim distant past in terms of the channel's history, I used to do classic sudokus fairly often, quite difficult classic sudokus on the channel, and there was something called an empty rectangle, and that used to lead to all these patterns. I very rarely do classic sudoku nowadays, and I can't quite remember what the implications of empty rectangles were. Yes, I mean, if that's a 9, for example, then because 9 always has to be in yellow, you could just start to paint. You paint all the 9s all but into the grid. Maybe not all of them, some of them. If that was a 9, this would have to be 8, 7. That would, oh yeah, okay, so that would mean this didn't have a 7 in it. I don't know. No, sorry, I'm not seeing very much here, am I? So maybe, okay, what about 1s then? No, that's a bad thought. Sorry, because ones are going to be slightly less constrained than 9s, unless and until we can prove whether 1 is on a circle ever. Because there could be 1, 1 on a circle. And if there is 1, 1 on a circle, then yes, yellow has to contain 8 1s, but it doesn't have to contain 9. So okay, so maybe this was a fool's errand. Maybe we do have to think about 6s then. But that does not feel very easy to me. Although, hang on. Okay. No. Okay, it didn't work. I did notice that I can't put 3 6s into these circled clues. Because if I was to, because this is a 7-8 pair, I could only put 1 6 here, and then I could put 1 6 there, and then I couldn't put a 6 in this one. So I could put 2 6s into these. But I think I could put 2 6s into those, couldn't I? And then I could put 3 6s into those. No, hang on, let's do this in the rows instead. Because in the rows, I can't I can't put a 6 here. So I've only got 2 6s in those circles, 2 6s in those circles. Yes, I've got something here. Right, if we look by row at how many 6s you can put next to circle. Let's start at the top. If I was to try and put 3 6s next to these circles, where would they go? They go in there, there, and there. Well, that doesn't work. That's 3 6s in 2 rows of the puzzle, so we can't do that. So the most number of 6s you can put in the rows up here in these cells is 2. The most number of 6s I can put there is 2. How many 6s can I put in the bottom 3 circles? Now, because that is odd, I could put a 6 there, but then I can't put more than 2 in again. It's the same logic as up here. So the way that we're going to get to 6 6s in circles is with 2 from up here, 2 from here, and 2 must be in those. So there must be a 6 in there, and there must be a 6 in here. Now, so there must be a 6 in there. This is so... Right. Okay, so now, hang on. If we go back to the columns now, I can't put 2 6s in these cells anymore because that's going to break that. Let's just do the columns again now. So I've got 1 here. So I could put 1 more into those cells because I couldn't have 3 6s in those cells without putting 3 6s into the final 2 columns. So I can have 2 6s in these columns. I can only have 1 6 in those cells now. Because if I had 2 6s, where would the 6 go in the central box? It would have to go in these cells where it can't go anymore. So 1 here, 2 here. So I must have 3 6s over here. This is great. This is great. I get a 6 here. Because I have just proved I must have 3 6s to get to 6 6s round circles in these cells. That means there's a 6 around here, which now we ask where the 6 goes in column 1, and it has to go next to a circle, so it has to go there, which means that's a 7, because we had a 6 and a 7 pencil mark, so this is not 7. Now that must be exciting. It's going to do something with 7s, isn't it? And now I should remember. Does it mean there's a 7 in that one? Yes, it does. Because there's no 7 here now. So there's a 7 in this domino. So there's no 7 around there. So in order to get 7 7s, we have to put 7. We have to put a 7 in here. Which means there's no 7 in there anymore. So there's a 7 here. A 7 here. So in row 4, there's a 7 in one of those, and it's got to be in that one. Yeah, I think that's the logic we sort of looked at earlier. So I've got 2 7s now. I've got 1 6. I think I can do more with 6s. But how? I've got 1 here. I can have 1 more in there, which couldn't be here. No, it could be there. That could be double 1. That's what I said isn't true there. Sorry. But I can have a maximum of 1 there. Another 1 there. Another 1 there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, nearly. I was wondering whether that could be a 6. And what it would do to this line. If this was a 6, you couldn't put 8 on this line because you couldn't put 7 on the Renban, it would have to be... So if this is a 6, this has to be 6, 5, 4. And I don't know if that's possible. Can we somehow get a count of where all these 6s go now? Or is that still difficult for us? Apparently I know that there's a 6 up here. So if there was a 6 there, that would have to be a 6. But if there's a 6 here, then that is a 6, which is what we were just looking at. Golly, I don't know. This is really confusing, isn't it? We've got somewhere for sure, but actually working out what we have to do, I don't know. But everything you get, it sort of triggers off fireworks that explode around the grid. It's like one of those domino things where you push the domino and then over there, a mouse gets caught under a cage. Now how many of the little funny clues have we used? None. Have I even thought about I know I have sort of thought about that one, actually. That did do something. So, okay, and I've now got, I think I've got my panoply of 7s. I've allocated 7s to 7 of the circles. I've allocated to 8s to all 8 of the circles. I've allocated to 6. I haven't done as well with 6. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how to get the others. There probably is a way. How do I know where they go? Is it trying to say I have to have a 6 on here, perhaps? It would have to be there, and that would be a 1 or a 2. And then I think there would be a 6 in here, which would... Oh, maybe it can't go there for some German whispery reason. That would cause these to be double 1, which would mean that I would have to have no 4s around the circles. And so 4s and 9s would live in the yellow cells. I don't know. I am not sure how to do this at all. Here is a weird point. You can't put 9 there, I've just noticed, because if that was 9, the 9 in box 1 would sort of loop round and look at... Oh no, that might be the right way round. Hang on. 9? No, that doesn't work. It does loop round. I thought it did when I first looked at it, and then I questioned myself. If this is a 9, we know 9 always has to live in yellow, so there'd be a 9 in here, a 9 in there, and then in box 1 there'd be a 9 in that domino. Looking at this 9, that can't work. So 9 is in this domino, so it's in that domino. We've always got... Oh, so it's not there. We've always got to put it in... Ah, right. We've always got to put it in yellow, just to complete that thought, but it can't go there. Because if this was 987, which would be if this was a 9, 7 can't go on that thingy. Technical term for the Renban, so I get a digit there. So, oh, I get 2 digits. Where's 9 in fact, yeah, I could have got this before. Where's 9 in box 2? It's always got to live in yellow, so it's not there, so it's here. So now it's in one of those 3. It's in one of these 3. Oh, hang on, let's see if we can do better than that. So it can go on these whispers though, can't it? 9 is a very easy digit to place on a whisper because it's got 4 possible neighbours that are at least 5 different from it. 9 can go next to 1, 2, 3 and 4. So, I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. What about... Okay, here's a different way of thinking about this. I've got something... Actually, I've got something good here. I think. Is it possible that none of those digits is a 6? Surely that doesn't work. Because if none of these were a 6, given I've got a 6 here, then these bottom 3 would contain 1 6. And that would mean we'd have 1 6 here, 2, 3 6s, which means these 3 circles all have to have a 6 next to them, but the 6 in box 2 would be in row 2. So I'd have to put 2 6s into row 3. I can't do that. So because there is a 6 in those cells, I don't know where it goes. One thing I was asking myself earlier is, could this be a 6 and that be a 5-4 pair? Now I'm going to rule that out. That cannot be a 6 because I do think there's a 6 in one of those indigo cells I just highlighted. Now that means that where's 6 in column 4? It's not here. I've got a pencil mark 6 there, so it's not here. So it's ruled out of all those cells, and now it's up there somewhere. But now it can't be in this circle. And I'm pretty sure I needed 2 6s up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's only 1 6 in there. So I do now, because there's no 6 around this circle, I already knew there was a 6 around this circle. I now know there is a 6 around this circle. And that means, where's 6 in row 1? If there's no 6 there, sorry, if there's a 6 here and a 6 here, there's no 6 here, there's no 6 here, so that's 6. And, oh, hang on, I've got a 6 pencil marked here, so there's no 6 there, which means this one is 6-less. It is 6-less, and therefore that is... Was it Eyeless in Gaza? That was a book, wasn't it? So this is... Hang on, I'm getting distracted. So there's a 6 in one of those 2, and there's no 6 around there, so there does need to be a 6 in this domino, because there needs to be a 6 around this circle, because there was meant to be a 6 in one of those 4 cells. It now has to be in these 2, which means this is not a 6, and I get another 6. So I've now got 3 6s, and I know there's a 6. If that was a 6, this would be a Y, but that's not on a circle. So there's a 6 in there, a 6 in here, a 6 in there. Hang on. If I put 8 on this, no, I can't put 8 on this, because I can't put 7 on it. It just won't work. Can't put a 7 here, assuming that pencil mark's correct. That is a correct pencil mark, looking at my 7s. So that can't be a 7, so these can't be an 8, because the Ren band would inevitably need a 7 on it. So there's an 8 up there, which means this is a 7, this is an 8. Now this is a 7. I'm getting some digits here. Come on. I've got 6, 7, 8, 9 in this column, so everything else in the column is low. It's 1, 2, 3, or 5, 4 or 5. So that digit is 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. It could be something like 5, couldn't it? And that could have 6 on it. This is not a 6 anymore because of this. We know this is even, 2 or 4. This has got 6, 7, and 8 around it. This has got 7 and 8 and 2 digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because of where I've pencil marked my 6s and 9s in the box. So that one again has got 2 digits from. So maybe that's what we have to do. Do we look at 5s now? So I've got to have 5 5s around circles. Now where if anywhere is the weak point there? I could put 2 5s in those cells. I've got 2 rows to play with. I could put 2 5s in those cells. That's 4 5s so far. And I could put 2 5s in there. That's 6 5s. I think there's 6 5s I could put in the puzzle. Let's do the columns and check it's the same logic. 2 columns free in these two. 2 columns free in columns 5 and 6. That's 4 columns so far. Yeah, there's 6, isn't there? So there's 6 rows and 6 columns in which I need to put my 5 5s. I can't, I can't put 5s on whispers ever. And that's, I mean, it's something we haven't talked about at all, but if you put a 5 on a green line, the adjacent digit needs to be at least 5 different from it, and 5 has no possible Sudoku neighbours that would work with that. So if we did put 5 in this box, it would have to be here. And then if I did put 5 in this box, it would have to be there. I don't know. I'm not sure. These have to be. They don't even have. Oh, they don't have 6 on that line anymore. So if this is 8. Oh, I thought that was almost brilliant. No, I was about to say if that's 8, because this couldn't be 1 7 or 2 6, it would have to be 3 5. And I was thinking that might tell me something about circles, but it doesn't, does it? Because even if 3 is on a circle, it's only on it 3 times, so it's still off it 6 times. That's not very easy to judge, actually. It's not going to be. Yeah, okay. Think about wait a minute. What I'm trying to think about is this. I'm trying to think about the yellow lattice. Now, because whatever's missing from the circles, and we know 9 is always missing from the circles, and we know that 4 might be missing, or 1 and 3 might be missing. So, so can this digit ever be? Because I worked out this digit couldn't be 9 earlier, because it would float around the yellow lattice and get put into there. And that's the same for any digit. It's not exclusive to 9, is it? If we did work out that 1 never appeared in a circle, then could this digit be 1? No. So this digit has to be a digit. The thing is, this digit has to be a digit that is capable of appearing on a circle, and does appear on a circle indeed. And does appear on a circle in those boxes, because if it didn't, it would get trapped into its own row in row 1. It would appear twice in row 1. But just need to know whether it's... The thing is, there's no necessity actually for it to be a 1 or a 4. It could just be a 5, couldn't it? I think... I feel like that is somehow... There's some logic I can pull from that fact. But it doesn't... I don't think it works for these two cells as well. It works there, because that rules out those 3 and locks it into a row in box 6. These two don't have that effect. Maybe that one, this one might have that effect, because that's going to affect this box. So if this was a 1, and let's say 1 was always off, always in the yellow lattice, then there'll be a 1 down there, there'll be a 1 exactly there. Oh, that might be tricky. Can this be a 1? Because that would force this to be a 2-3 pair. Right, hang on. So this cell might be important. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So I actually would get the 1 in box 9. 1 in one of those two cells in box 7. There might be something wrong with this. Let me just stare at it for a moment, because it feels incredible. It would force a 6-8 pair into row 5 in box 4. I don't know. Or actually, hang on. If that was a 1, that would be a 6 or a 7. That doesn't work. So that doesn't work for Sudoku, because this can't be 6 or 7, because I've got them nailed into this circle arena. So that is not a 1 anyway. But that's not going to have the same effect with 4. Because if this was 4, actually, then that would have to be a 3. This would have to be a 7, because it couldn't be double 4. That cell, if that cell is a digit that always... this is interesting. Look at that cell. Where is that? Let's again ask the question: can this be? Well, we could ask. Let's say it's a 1, and it's always in the yellow. Is that possible? It would go here. It would go in there, and then it would go there in box 9. It's the same. It's actually the same point as this cell. It just sort of goes around a different number of bends. So these bends, right, and now I've got it, because now, how could, this is right, how could 1 and 3 be in yellow? How could they be in yellow? Now, this line is absolutely crucial in this analysis. It's absolutely beautiful, because if there's one thing that I can tell you, and this is the knowledge bomb from Cracking the Cryptic, 1 at 3 is not 7 or 8, and therefore it does not work. Because if this, let's go through it in our minds slowly. Let's say that the panoply of circle digits includes 4 and therefore doesn't include 1 and 3. Where are we going to write 1 and 3 into box 3? Because we've just said you can't write 1 here if it's always off a circle. Because where's it going to go? It's going to go in there in box 6, in there in box 4, and in there in box 1. That doesn't work. And if you put it here, it goes there in box 9, there, or in this domino, if you prefer, just to think of it in domino terms, in box 8, and there in box 2, and looks at itself again. So it can't go in those cells, but that logic's the same for 3. So 1 and 3 would be forced onto the line, and they don't add up to enough. So it's 4. That's an amazing thing, Die Hard, by the way. That is one of the best and most unusual logical steps I've seen in a long time. That's fantastic. So I think this proves that the circles have to have 1 and 3 on them, so they don't have 4 on them. So 4. Oh, yeah, this is so good. Now I'm going to apply that logic to 4 in box 3. Where's 4 in box 3? I know it's not circled anymore because we worked out 1 and 3 have to be. Or 1 and 3 at least, they have some presence on circles. 1 appears once, 3 appears 3 times. 4 never appears in a circle. Now, we know that 4 can't go in there because of this weird thing that happens. So 4 goes on that line. So this can't be 8. Because it would be double 4. So that's 7. This is 8. This is a 3-4 pair. That is that's mesmerizing. Now, okay, so now these aren't 8 and these aren't 7. A top row needs 1, 2, 5, 9. So that's 1, 2, or 5. C's are 9. Don't know whether to do that. I might do it just because it's a deduction. Now, so 1 and 3. So 1 only appears on circles once. 3 appears 3 times. So there are 8 1s in yellow. I'm staring at this now, and it's still not letting us, it's still not rolling over and letting us tickle its tummy, is it? It's very much not allowing that. What? So is it to do with 4s then? There must be places 4s can't go due to all this sort of running around these dominoes type thing. Maybe 4 has to go there. That would be good. It wouldn't be great, actually, but it would be. I know 4 is not here. Ah, there we go. Where's 4 in box 1? Don't know, but it's in one of those two. Now I can get it going around some dominoes, because I know it's always in yellow. Can it go there? No. That's lovely. That's the first time a green line's been useful. If this was a 4, that would be a 9. That's the only possible digit, and we know 9s are never in circles. So that's a 4. 4 can't go on this green line either, because again, that would put 9 on a circle. So that's a 4. So 4s are the places we're meant to look. So actually, how do we take this further forward? So 4 is in one of 2 places in box. Box thingy. Box 8. So I don't know then. I think it could be on that Renban. And the Renban could then go 5, 6. It could go up or it could go down and be 3, 2. Both of those I think are okay. Probably. So, I don't know then. How can this still be so recalcitrant? Naughty puzzle. If this is a 4, then that's a 4. This is a 4. It's really, no, I don't know. And if that's a 4, there's a 4 in one of those, there's a 4 here. In one of those. I don't know. Doesn't seem like the 4s do really open up. So should we go back to 5s then again? How has my knowledge of 5s changed at all since we started to think about this? I don't think it has. I've learned a little bit about certain positions for 8s and 7s, a little bit about 4s, a little bit about what's not, what's sort of in yellow. And I've basically done my 8s. I don't know where they go, but I've basically done them. And I've got quite a good handle on 7s and 6s, to be fair. So it does feel like 5s are the natural place to look. Maybe it's something to do with the whisper here. If there's a 5 in there, it would have to be there. Oh, okay. Hang on, I've just seen something. No, it's the same point. That could still be a 5. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a row point, isn't it? If I want to put a 5 in this row in a circle, it's got to go there. But then it could go... No, it couldn't go there. It could go there. And then one of these could be a 5. I don't think there's a problem with that. Or if there is a problem, it's far from clear to me why it's a problem. I can put 2 5s in those cells. I can put 2 5s in those cells, I think. Seem to be able to put 2. So again, I keep getting to the count of 6 when I think about 5s. When I think about 4s, I just know they live in yellow. When I think about 3s, they have to be... I think 3 is going to be the hardest digit in a way, because they appear 3 times in the white cells and 6 times in the yellow cells. 2s appear twice in white and 7 times in yellow, and 1 appears once in white. I mean, maybe that would be useful if I could find out where the 1 was in... Oh, no, I can't do the logic now on this not being a 1, because I don't know that 1 couldn't be there in this box. So I can't say it's going to be there, there, and there, and then see itself. That's just not true. I don't know, I'm stuck a bit here. How long have I been? I've been going over an hour. That's flown past. So I don't know. Is it something to do with this whisper having to have a low digit on it? Because you couldn't put 8 and 7 here because they're not 5 apart. So if one of these... one of those is 7 or 8, actually, because they can't be 6 or 9. Let's think about Whisper's logic. This can't be They can't have 5 on it ever. And it can't be 2 low digits, 2 digits from 1, 2, 3, and 4, because they wouldn't be 5 apart. So there must be a high digit here, and only one high digit, which means there's only one low digit. We know it's not a 4, because 4 is not allowed to be in the white cells. So there is a 1, 2, or a 3 on this domino next to a 7 or an 8. Two, 3. Let's see, that one doesn't have to. What about there? Do we have to have... No, that doesn't have to have... no, that doesn't work. Everything I'm trying here doesn't work. I'm so sorry about this. I've got to have 1 there. I've got to have 2 there. That's 3 low digits. That's 5 low digits, actually. But do I have to have a low digit there? That's a question. Why couldn't they be 5, 6, 7, 8? Don't know. That can't be 5, 6, 7, 8, actually, because of this. So there does have to be a low digit here. Even if that was 8, 6, 5, there would... okay. Let's count low digits, not 5s then. Because in that domino, let's just make it purple, that purple thing has definitely got a low digit. When I'm saying low digit, I mean a 1, 2, or a 3. Because we know on the circles there's 1, 1, 2, 2s, and 3, 3s. So 6 digits to find that are definitively low, i.e. 1s, 2s, or 3s. There's 1 there in that purple. In this row, I can absolutely fill the circles with 5, 6, 7, and 8. But there are 6 cells there. So 2 of them have to be low. 2 of them have to be 1s, 2s, and 3s. So we're now at a count of 3 low digits. Look at that. This 2 by 2. How many low digits? What's the minimum number of low digits we could have in there? Well, we can't have a 7, so we could have an 8, a 6, and a 5. That's possible, but then we need a low digit, so there's definitely 1 in there. So 1, 2, 2 in this row is 4. Now look at this row. How many in there? 2, at least. Because I could put 5, 6, 7, and 8 into some number of cells, but there's still 2 left over that would have to be, because there can't be 4 ever in the white cells, that would have to be low. That's all the lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are no lows in there, in these cells. Or there, actually. So these cells are not 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 9. They are 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now let's do this slowly, because I bet you we can get rid of 5 from the whisper. This digit is now a low, because it's got to be different by 5 from 6, 7, and 8 on the whisper. That can't be 7 by sudoku. That's extraordinary. It's done nothing. The rest of the row, but I've got a 9 there, so the rest of the row is 1, 2, 3, 4. This digit is 1 or 2. Can't be 3 or 4, so that is 1 or 2. So 5 in this card. Oh yeah, I want to come back to this one. That one has to have no low digits on it. So this is a 5, 6 pair, which takes 6 out of this one. So that's gone down. That doesn't affect that one. Okay. This might do something, but I don't know what. I mean, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. These are 5, 6. Is it something to do with... I don't know. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Wait a minute. No, that doesn't work. I don't think. Can I put 6 on this rem band now? Or is this going to give me a problem here? Yeah, 7 can't go on that rem band. So if it's got 6 on it, it is 6, 5, 4. And the 4 would have to go here by sudoku. So this would have to be 6, 5. And that breaks that. I mean, that's vicious, actually. That's just vicious, plain vicious. So this is a 6, 8 pair now. Which means this is, I'll get the 5 and the 6 sorted out. So that must do something. Please. Please do something. 9 is in one of 2 places now in the box. So we are looking, so this digit is 1, 2, or 3 as well. So in this column, where is 5? This could be important. Is it right though? That's a different question. I think it is right. I think 5 is in that domino. So 5 is not in there. So, but, right. Okay, I'm going to go back to my earlier logic where I was counting low digits. Oh yeah, this is how to do it, isn't it? This is how to do it. Because I worked out that I needed to put 6 low digits into this row. Let's do some colouring. That row, there's going to be 2 minimum. This box, well now actually we'll correct it to this. Remembering I can't put more than 6 in. So if I put 2 in that row, which I must at least, 1 here, 1 here, and 2 in this row, that's all the ones I'm allowed to put in. But if I was to miss any of miss out 1 from any of those, then I would have to put too many high digits into the puzzle. So this is, if you like, the disposition. And what I think that might be interesting for is this collection, because doesn't this have to have 5 in it now? I think it does, because it can't have 2 low digits, or there'll be too many low digits in the white cells. So it's only got 1. So one of these is a 1, 2, or a 3, but it's on a Renban with a 5, because it's not on the Renban with 6, 7, or 8. So there is a 5 in there. This can't be a 6, because I've got 6 in here. So this, yeah, and it couldn't be, yeah, we couldn't have a 6, 5, 4 Renban anyway, because we know one of these is low. So this has to be 3, 5. Whoopsie. And this has to be 4. So this is not 4. 4, remember, is always in, this is good. So that's a 4, 9 pair in my yellow cells, which means that gets me a 4, actually, in box 1, 4, 9. Right. So So these are 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, how could the 5 in this row not be in orange? It can't be, because if it's not in orange, then I've got to put 3 low digits in here, in orange. 3, 4, 5, and then 2 more, 7. There are not 7 low digits in the white cells, so the 5 cannot be there, is what I'm saying. It's definitely in this domino. I sort of feel like that should do something, but it doesn't seem to want to. Where's 5 in column? This column by Sudoku. It's actually placed now, right at the bottom. So it's not in that collection. Oh, I bet this does something. I bet it does something. Ah, here's a different. No, that's wrong. What I was about to say is wrong. I can't say it because I don't like saying wrong things. 1, 2, 4. So these are 1, 2, 4, 9, aren't they? And the 4 is not here. Now, can we do any better? So in this row, in this row, I've just got 1s, 2s, and 9s to put in. 2 of which are on whispers. But they're not very interesting, whether they are, whatever they are, they're not putting very much pressure on the digits they're next to. Right. So, what can we do with this? This digit is a 1, 2, or a 3 by Sudoku. I'm trying. I promise I'm trying to solve this. Okay, let's go back and think about this row, where we know that there are 2 low digits, and all of the numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8, because there are only 2 low digits in that 6-cell sequence. So 5, 6, 7, and 8 are in the white cell, so they are not here. So this is a 5. Now 5 is in that domino, which means once we pair it up here, we can ask where 5 goes in this column. 5 goes in the corner, which feels like it should be worthy of a song, but probably isn't. Right, and actually now 5 comes out of there. So I can place 5 in my 5, 6, 7, 8 thing, and 6 is over on this side now of this 6, 7, 8 triple. So 6 is not at the top there. And this has come right down to 7 or 8. Oh, I was going to say it doesn't. No, it could be 3, 8. It could be 3, 8 still. All right, but that's still a tiny bit of progress. It's a scintilla of progress in the. I've got a 6, 8 pair in this column, so that's definitely not an 8. Okay. So if there's a digit, and I'm thinking of this digit, which can't be 5, 6, 7, or 8 by Sudoku, and yet must exist in the orange in this row, so it has to be a low digit. That's got to be a 1, 2, or a 3. And now I've got a 1, 2, 3, 5 quadruple in row 2. So once I add 4 and 9 to that, the other digits are 6, 7, and 8, and we know that isn't a 6. Now I've got a 6, 7, 8 triple in column 3. I can place the 6 in row 2. I've now got a 7, 8 pair in column 8, and that means these are not 7 and 8. So the 7 and 8 get pushed over And right, that's beautiful, because now I know that this digit is high on the whisper, so it definitely isn't next to 9, which pushes the 9 up here. Now hopefully that will do something, although famous last words. 9 is now in this, so 9 isn't here anymore. It's definitely in this domino in box 4. Ah, I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, so this is a 5, 6 pair. And these digits must be 1, 2s, 3s, and 9s. You sort of look at that and you think that must be resolved in some manner or means, but no. This has got to be low. It's 1, 2, or 3, just by the whisper logic. So that, okay, so that's the low digit in the purple that we were looking at earlier. Now, what do you think we do from here? So this column is very full of high digits. So these digits are from 1, 2, 3, and 4. This digit, that's not 9, is it? So 9 goes in the corner. 4 never goes in the white cell. So this is a 1, 2, or a 3. And this is a 9. It doesn't matter. It's not quite good enough. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. 4 is here. That's a 4. I hadn't thought about this, but I haven't thought about this for a while. Where's 4 in terms of the yellow cells? It's got to be there in box 7, which is going to get me a 4 in box number 4, coincidentally enough. No. No, it doesn't work. That's not a 5 anymore because of this 5. That's a 1 or a 2. Look at that. I've got a 1, 2 pair in column 9. So this is a 3. 3 can't go next to 7 on a whisper because it would be too close to it. So that's 8. That's 7. That's 8. That's 8. That's 6. That's 7. That's 6. Here we go, please. Just keep going now, puzzle. You've given quite enough resistance. You have given the most amazing account of yourself. You don't need to keep being difficult now. But you're going to be, aren't you? You are going to be, a naughty thing. Come on. What about this column? That's 1, 2, or 3. What about... I don't know. Oh no. 5 is in there. 1, 2, 3. Got loads of 1s and 2s everywhere. Is there going to be any point in colouring them? I don't know, actually. I'll certainly do that if I feel desperate enough. But maybe we could do better. I think there's still more logic I might be able to extract from that, all that thinking. Oh, there is a 3 in there. There's only 3 3s in the circles, remember? But it doesn't have to be a 3 in row 2, because that could be a 3. Nah, but there could be. There could be a 3 up there, but it doesn't have to be. Could that be a 3? What about this column? What do we need in that column? That digit is 1, 2, 3, or 5. And apparently I can't get rid of anything from there. That's extraordinary. And these digits, is there some way I can pencil mark these? Oh, 8. No. Or 6. Nope. It could still absolutely be a 6 if this was a 1. I don't know then. All right, let's try and lose some colouring. We'll lose the colouring from there. I think the colouring of orange has done its job. And let's try and do some 1s and 2s. So that's going to be indigo, that's going to be red. Okay, this is not going very well yet. Because I don't really know where the 1s and 2s are around the white cells. I mean, I know there's only 3 of them possible to put in the white cells, but... Oh, okay, so the indigo one is in those 2. Ah, okay, here's a tiny point. That's actually got me a pencil mark. The indigo one in box 1, where is it? It's in one of these 2, which means it's actually forced there in box 7. Now. Does that do anything? Is a good question to ask. I'm not sure it does anything at all. It's in one of those. It's... I don't know. I don't know what it does. One of... hang on. Red. This is good. This is a 3. Oh, this could be important, actually. Yeah, there's a 129 triple in column 1, which makes this a 3. So now that's actually a red. Which... Okay. Yeah, so now I know where the indigo one goes in this box, actually. Because indigo in this box is definitely in one of those 3, isn't it? So it's forced into the top row. So it's forced to be that cell exactly. So that is indigo, which means this is 9. This is not 3. That's red, actually. So I've got red. So I've got 1 and 2 looking at that cell now. So that's 3 or 5. The 9 is placed down here at long last. That's another win for the goodies. I've got a 3-5 pair. Is it going to be something like counting 5s around white cells? 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5. None there. Ah, yeah. Does that work? I think it does. Okay, so we're going to count 5s around the white cells. I need 5 of them, obviously. I've got 1 here. 2, 3, 4. I need 1 more. It's not possible in either of these boxes. So there must be a 5 here. That's probably been available forever. So this is now 5. This is a 3. This 5. That's weird. That's not done anything. I really don't think that's done very much at all, which is most distressing. There's got to be a low in one of those. The bottom row needs 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. That's not a 4, so that's another low. And, okay, don't know. This column, one of these is indigo. But I don't think we know which one. So there's a sheep in a nearby field now that's barring away. One of those is red. Can you hear it? I don't know if the microphone will pick it up, but it's making a bit of a racket. That's That's how I feel. Did it again. It's almost like it can hear. Now, okay, sorry, I shouldn't get distracted by that, should I? I should try and solve the puzzle. It's still not letting us win, is it? It very much isn't. What on earth am I meant to do here? Okay, all right. Oh no, it doesn't work. Doesn't work. How about nines? I feel like we can do better. I mean, there's so many nines I've put into this puzzle. Surely I can do all the nines. Ah, I can do a few more. I've got 4 here, which I'd never noticed. So how many 4s have I got now? This is not a 4. So, that's a 3 or a 4. Look, this cell here is 3, or maybe it's 3s and 4s I was meant to colour. It's not impossible, is it? 1s, 2s and 3s. I know 6, 7 and 8 are all making an appearance around here. I just don't know. Just don't know exactly how they're disposed and how they relate to this cell. 9 is in one of those 2 cells, but I don't know. I mean, I'd love to know it was this one. That would get this to be 1, 2. That would probably finish the puzzle at a guess. Because if I knew that was a 1, 2, 3, I could put the 6, 7 and the 8 around this, and that would probably disambiguate everything. Probably. I mean, I don't know that, but it just feels like it might, doesn't it? Or could it be, if that's... I don't know. I'm a bit lost here. Okay, these are 1s, 2. This is a 1, 2. Okay. Here's a different point. In this column, I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, but this is a 1, 2, or 3. So I've now got a 1, 2, 3 triple in this row. So the only digits these can be are 6, 7, and 8, and that is not 7, and that is not 8. So now, so this is, there we go. So this is definitely high, which means this is definitely low and is not 9 because it can't be 5 different. So that gets a 9 in the middle of the puzzle, weirdly. And this one, can we colour it? Yes, I can. It's red. So red. Is that good? It means this is 9. So that one is not 9. And that one is red as well. So red is in one of those 2. But I don't think that's enough. Alas. It might be, but I don't know why. Goodness me. I still don't know what to do. I know that these digits definitely include red and indigo, but I don't know whether this one can be one of them. At least I don't think I know that. I got this 6, 7, 8. I know 6 is over here. In this row, I know there needed to be 2 low digits in the white cells. I've got one of them so far. So one of these is 7 or 8. And the other is 1, 2, or 3. But, I mean, how do we do that? don't know. At least I don't think I know. I'm not sure. I know red is in one of those two. I know red is in one of those three. I know red is in one of those three. Is it the parity line? It's probably a line I haven't obeyed the conditions of. I mean, if that was 6, that would force red to be 1. Which might be fine. Oh, wait. That doesn't work. That is weird. I don't think that can be true. But it's for the most bizarre reason, and I'm not totally comfortable with it, so I'm just going to go through that in my head again. If that's a 6 and that's a 1, that's a 1. Where do I put... I don't think that works. This is a bizarre reason. Right, if this is 6 and the red is 1, you can see we've put a 1 already around this circle. So no other red digit now could be around a circle, because we would have a 1 around a circle here. And that's the 1, 1 we're meant to put. So where would we put 1s in these boxes? 1 couldn't be around the circle, so 1 would be here. But now where would it be in here? It would be in the circle, and we'd have 2 1s in circles, so that doesn't work. So this has to be 8. Which means this is 8. That means this is 7. Now that means this... I can colour it. I was about to say I can't colour it, but I actually can colour that one because of this cell. So this is now a 3. I daren't get my hopes up here, but that being a 7 does get me a 6 and a 7 actually, and a 6 and a 5 and a 5 again. Okay. So this is what, 2 or 3? These are different. Now, well, I can see that red must be 2 now, because I've got red in 2 of these circles. So red is 2, which means this one is 1, 2. Okay, let's hope this does something. So this is now a 2-4 pair. These are now a 1-3 pair. This is now a 1-3 pair. This is now a 1. Maybe we're going to have to colour 1s and 3s in a moment. I don't know. I don't know yet. Or 3s maybe. I've got to put enough 3s around the funny thingies as well, don't I? So that might also be something we need to concentrate on. Gosh, this is a long video. Blueprints is going to start by the time we get to the end of this. Okay, come on, Simon. 4s. Can I do better with 4s? I feel like I've put loads of 4s into the grid. I have put some in. 3s? Hardly any. That's a dearth of 3s. Good grief. And I've got to put only one 1 in. Oh, this is a 1. Hang on, it's a 1. Does that help me? No. I've only allowed to put 1 1 into the circles. And I'm not allowed to put any more 2s in, am I? That's probably going to be important, because I've already got 2 2s in the circles. So that gives me a 1-3 pair here. So that's 4, that's 4, that's 3. Okay, maybe we're there now. So now 4, 2. And we're going to have to do this The remaining digits have to be done in such a way that we get the correct number of 1. We're definitely going to have a 1 in one of these. One of those is a 1, so that can't be a 1. So that's got to be a 3. That's got to be a 1. That's a 1. That's a 3. So this is a 1. That's a 1. That's a 3. That's a 3. And that's a 2. Now, I don't trust that solution. I'm going to be very honest with you because I don't know whether the count is correct. I felt like I did it logically, but let's count 1s, 2s, and 3s around the circles. So let's just get the circles. Let's bring them out a little bit by, I don't know whether I'll purple them or something. Yeah, that's great. I can see that very clearly. Right, I should have 1, 1. That's that one. That looks good. I should have 2 2s. That's those two. I should have 3 3s. 1, 2, 3. I should have no 4s, and I don't. I should have 5 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have 6 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have several 7s exactly equal. I mean, I must have 7 7s. I worked so hard on my 7s at the start. And 8 8. I mean, I think it's right. If the sudoku's right, it's right, isn't it? What a puzzle. What a brilliant puzzle. Wow. That was weird, actually, because it started off and I thought, oh, I've got the idea of this. I'm going to be able to do it. I thought I would be able to do it. But then it didn't get easier at all. And even when you got to the point where you knew like loads about it, the best bit of this puzzle was that incredible stuff with this region sum line. That is an incredible piece of logic. But even once you got that, it didn't really help me. It helped me a bit. No, it did help me a bit. But it wasn't finished. It's a brilliant puzzle. Very original. Die Hard, take a bow. I'm sorry it's taken me a long time. But I hope that anyone who's still with us, I hope you got something out of it. Do let us know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.